A face so good, Miss Hiller. The water's boiling. ... Hello. Be simple. Comedic lines from Mrs. Doubtfire echo the charm and brilliance of Robin Williams, a man who is known across the world as one of Hollywood's most gifted and beloved performers. His boundless energy, quick wit, and unmatched sense of humor made him a household name. He had a rare ability to light up the screen and bring joy to audiences of all ages. People laughed with him, admired his talent, and many grew up cherishing the memories of his unforgettable films. But while Robin was famous for making the world laugh, there was another, deeper side to him, one that wasn't as visible in the public eye. It wasn't something you'd see during interviews or flashy award shows. It was something quieter, something more human, and it revealed itself only in unguarded moments soften away from the cameras. One of the few people who truly witnessed that side of Robin Williams was the actress Sally Field. Their bond formed while filming the 1993 movie Mrs. Doubtfire, film that would go on to become one of the most heartwarming and iconic family comedies of all time. In the movie, Robin played Daniel Hillard, a father who, after a painful divorce, disguises himself as a Scottish nanny named Mrs. Doubtfire to stay close to his children. Sally Field played Miranda, his ex-wife. As the film's two lead characters, their performances became the emotional backbone of the story. And from the very beginning of their collaboration, it was clear that something special was happening between them. Their relationship quickly grew beyond just acting alongside each other. It became a powerful, unspoken connection based on mutual respect, emotional depth, and an understanding of each other as both professionals and people. Robin was famous for being wildly spontaneous during filming. He would often deliver a few takes sticking to the script, just like any trained actor would. But once he had that baseline, he would begin to play it in improvised lines, creating wild new characters on the spot, using exaggerated facial expressions and launching into entirely new directions. This unpredictability made every take fresh and surprising. For many actors, this kind of improvisation could be disorienting or even frustrating. But not for Sally. She never tried to match Robin's energy or steal the spotlight. Instead, she responded authentically in the moment. If he threw her a new line, her reactions were real and unrehearsed. That sincerity made their scenes feel incredibly natural and emotionally rich. Their different acting styles turned out to be the perfect complement. Robin brought excitement, creativity, and unpredictability, while Sally brought calmness, warmth, and heartfelt emotion. Director Chris Columbus, recognizing the rare chemistry between them, made the decision to film their scenes using multiple cameras. This way, he could capture every spontaneous gesture and expression, every raw, unplanned moment that couldn't be replicated. He knew something truly magical was happening on that set. Off camera, Sally admired Robin's brilliance. She respected how he brought new life to every scene, never letting it grow stale or predictable. Robin, in turn, deeply appreciated Sally's presence, how she remained grounded, present, and emotionally honest, no matter how wild things got. But their bond wasn't limited to their roles as actors. Away from the script and spotlight, Robin revealed himself to be deeply kind, gentle, and thoughtful. He had a remarkable ability to lighten the mood when tensions ran high, and he often noticed when someone wasn't feeling their best. He paid attention. If a crew member was having a rough day, Robin was often the first to notice and the first to offer comfort. Sally saw this side of him clearly. She understood that beneath all the outward silliness and showmanship was a man who genuinely cared about others. He wasn't just performing for applause or attention. He wanted people to feel something real, to connect. Sally and Robin never flaunted their friendship publicly. It wasn't loud or filled with press headlines. It was quiet, respectful, and deeply rooted in trust. Didn't have to talk about it. They just knew it. They shared smiles during breaks, supported each other through tough scenes, and carried one another emotionally, often without saying a word. That trust on and off camera is what made their performances resonate so deeply with audiences. It was real. Then came a day during filming that changed everything. A moment that Sally never forgot. It wasn't in the script. It wasn't seen by the public. But it revealed Robin's true heart more than any role ever could. On that day, while filming a heavy courtroom scene, the emotional climax of Mrs. Doubtfire Sally Field received devastating news. Her father had passed away. He had been living in a nursing home following a stroke, and although his health had been declining, the loss still came as a painful blow. Sally was in the middle of a demanding production schedule, expected to perform and stay composed. She didn't want to break down or stop the shoot. Instead, she retreated quietly to her trailer near the set and tried to gather herself. She determined to continue filming despite her grief. Known for her professionalism, she told herself she had to stay strong and push through the pain. But even the strongest people need support, and someone saw her pain that day without her uttering a single word. That someone was Robin Williams. Robin had an extraordinary emotional radar. Could sense when something was wrong just by reading a person's body language, tone, or even silence. The moment he saw Sally that day, he knew something was off. Her expression, her posture, told him everything. Without hesitation, he approached her, sat beside her, and softly asked, "Are you okay?" Sally looked at him and shared the truth. "My father just died." Robin didn't crack a joke or try to lighten the moment with humor. Instead, his face turned serious. He simply said, "Oh my God, we need to get you out of here right now." Despite being the film's lead actor and one of its producers, Robin didn't think twice about filming schedules or production delays. None of that mattered to him in that moment. What mattered was Sally. He immediately went to director Chris Columbus and asked, "Can we rearrange the shoot? Can we film scenes without Sally today? She needs time." And because of Robin's influence and the deep respect he commanded, the director agreed. The entire production schedule was adjusted on the spot. They filmed other scenes, and Sally was allowed to go home to be with her family, grieve, and make funeral arrangements. Robin didn't just make the request and walk away. He stayed with her until she was ready to leave. He made sure she wasn't alone. He didn't let her suffer quietly. Years later, Sally would recall that moment as one of the most powerful memories of her career. It revealed a side of Robin that very few ever got to witness. He was deeply sensitive and emotionally intuitive. He noticed the small things, the things others often missed. His heart was full of care, not just for laughs, but for people. For Sally, what he did wasn't just kind, it was life-changing. In a world where stars are often expected to push through pain, Robin reminded her that it was okay to be human first. That being a daughter in mourning was more important than being an actress on set. This memory stayed with Sally forever. She didn't share the story publicly for years, not until long after Robin had passed. She wasn't seeking attention or praise. She just wanted the world to understand the real Robin Williams, the man behind the curtain. The friend who showed up when it counted most, the person who didn't need applause to do the right thing, that was the Robin Williams Sally knew. Not just the comedic genius seen on screen, but the kind, deeply compassionate human being who acted with heart. He never made a spectacle of his goodness. He didn't need speeches or awards to prove it. He simply lived it. That's why Sally remembered him not just as an incredible actor, but as an incredible soul. Her story gave the world a new perspective on Robin. Everyone already knew he was talented. His movies, his stand-up, his TV appearances were legendary. But stories like Sally's revealed something even more meaningful. Robin was a man who used his fame not to elevate himself, but to lift others. Many others who worked with Robin have since come forward with similar memories. They described how he treated everyone with the same warmth, whether you were the director, the makeup artist, or someone serving coffee on set. He always had time, he always cared. He always asked, "How are you doing?" and meant it. That's what made his bond with Sally so remarkable. They didn't compete. They didn't try to steal scenes from each other. They simply worked with honesty and trust. That honesty translated into their performances. The emotional depth in Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't just acting, it was real. It came from two people who believed in each other and supported each other through real life. Even after Mrs. Doubtfire wrapped, Sally held Robin close to her heart. She once said that no one had ever made her laugh more, but more importantly, no one had made her feel safer. In an industry often filled with pressure and ego, Robin gave something rare, unconditional kindness. When Robin Williams passed away, the world lost a comic legend. But those who knew him personally lost so much more: the loss of a profoundly compassionate soul. Sally's story reminds us of that. Behind every brilliant performance was a man who cared deeply, a man who acted, not just for the camera, but for the people around him. His ability to uplift, to comfort, to notice, that's what truly defined him. Thanks to people like Sally Field, we get to know the whole Robin Williams, not just the laughter, but the love behind it. Mrs. Doubtfire was more than a movie about identity and family. It was the backdrop of a real-life friendship that showed us what true humanity looks like. Sally and Robin's connection teaches us that real magic doesn't just come from performance, it comes from caring, it's from listening, and from being there when it matters most. In the end, Robin Williams' greatest role wasn't a character he played. It was the role he lived, that of a gentle soul, a loyal friend, and a quiet hero behind the laughter. When people remember Robin Williams, they think of that unstoppable energy and contagious humor. But thanks to stories like this, we also remember his heart, and that's what truly made him unforgettable. Robin Williams was celebrated for portraying unforgettable characters who could make audiences laugh, cry, and reflect deeply. Beneath that comedic brilliance, however, lived a tender and gentle soul. No one perhaps saw that side of him more clearly than actress Sally Field. During the filming of the beloved movie Mrs. Doubtfire, Sally had the chance to truly know the man behind the humor, not just Robin the entertainer, but Robin, the compassionate human being who deeply cared about the people around him. Sally often shared how Robin wasn't just a co-star, he was a genuine. He was the kind of person who showed up when it mattered most, whether the cameras were rolling or not. On set, he treated everyone with equal kindness and respect. It didn't matter if someone was a fellow lead actor or a crew member sweeping. The Floribond made the effort to learn everyone's name, ask about their families, and check in on their well-being. He had a special gift for making people feel seen and valued. Robin never seemed too busy to pause for a conversation, share a quick joke, or lift someone's spirits on a tough day. Sally once recalled a moment during a deeply emotional time in her life when her father passed away. Robin was one of the first to notice her sorrow. He didn't try to make a scene or draw attention to his support. He simply stood by her side, listened quietly, and made her feel safe. That simple, silent gesture of comfort meant more to her than words could express. It wasn't just Sally who felt that kind of warmth. Everyone on the Mrs. Doubtfire set had their own memories of how Robin made them feel appreciated. Whether it was easing tensions during a difficult shoot with a perfectly timed joke, or offering someone a heartfelt compliment, Robin made sure people knew they mattered. A makeup artist on set recalled that Robin often chose to have lunch with the crew rather than retreat to his trailer like many stars. He wanted to be part of the team, not above it. He would laugh with them, tell stories, and ask about their dreams. His kindness was sincere and constant. Sally explained that the love Robin gave wasn't for show. It was like that even when no one was watching. He helped create an atmosphere on set where people actually looked forward to coming to work, something rare in the high-pressure world of filmmaking, and his compassion extended far beyond the entertainment industry. Robin was deeply committed to charitable causes. He co-founded Comic Relief USA, which raised millions for the homeless. He also supported programs for veterans, individuals with disabilities, and those suffering from mental illness. But what truly set Robin apart wasn't just the money he donated, it was the personal effort he gave. He didn't just write checks, he showed up. He listened to people's stories and offered his presence and empathy. Robin used his fame not to elevate himself, but to draw attention to those in need. That was part of what made him so beloved. Sally Field's admiration for Robin didn't fade after Mrs. Doubtfire. Over the years, she continued to speak openly and lovingly about his heart, his sense of humor, and the quiet sadness she sometimes sensed in him. In one heartfelt interview, she said, "He should be growing old like me." That simple statement carried deep emotion. It revealed not only her grief, but the depth of the friendship they had built, one rooted in compassion. trust, and shared human experiences. Their connection had gone far beyond scripts and performances. Many people never had the chance to see the softer, more vulnerable side of Robin Williams. To most, he was the man with lightning-fast jokes, wild impressions, and boundless energy, the one who could light up any room. But behind the spotlight was a man who intimately understood pain, who cared deeply for others, and who had a heart that was far bigger than many realized. Sally was among the fortunate few who saw both sides, and through her memories, the world continues to glimpse the loving, thoughtful person Robin truly was. Even though Robin brought joy to millions, he was silently fighting a private battle that few knew about. In the final years of his life, the spark that had once burned so brightly began to fade. Outwardly, he still seemed energetic, humorous, and full of life. But those closest to him began noticing subtle shifts. He seemed quieter, more withdrawn. His iconic smile sometimes no longer reached his eyes. Then came devastating news. Robin was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. For a man whose art relied so heavily on movement, timing, and physical expressiveness, the diagnosis felt like a dark cloud threatening everything he held dear. Parkinson's slowly strips away a person's physical capabilities. It causes tremors, stiffness, and mobility issues. For Robin, whose comedy lived in his body as much as his words, it was shattering. He began to fear what his future might hold. Would he be able to perform? Would the parts of him that made people laugh fade away? Would he become a shell of who he once was? These questions haunted him. Despite it all, Robin kept most of his struggles to himself. Didn't want others to worry. He didn't want to be a burden. So, he continued to smile. He continued to work. But inside, he was crumbling, adding to the weight Robin had recently gone through a painful divorce and was trying to start over with his new wife, Susan Schneider. Rebuilding happiness is never easy, especially when battling health issues, emotional scars, and career doubts. Robin was caught between two life chapters, one he had just closed, and another he didn't quite know how to begin. Everything around him felt uncertain and unstable. Then came a heartbreaking revelation. After Robin's death, doctors discovered that he had been misdiagnosed. He didn't have Parkinson's disease. He was actually suffering from Lewy body dementia, a rare and aggressive brain disorder. This illness affects cognitive functions, causes extreme confusion, memory loss, vivid hallucinations, and sudden mood swings. One moment, the person might seem perfectly fine. The next, they might be lost, scared, or disoriented. Robin had been unknowingly battling this invisible monster. His wife, Susan, described it as a terrorist inside his brain, something that attacked him from within, causing him to doubt his own thoughts, memories, and even his identity. He would forget lines, lose focus, and be overwhelmed with irrational fear. Yet through all of this, he hardly ever asked for help. He remained Robin, the one who gave others laughter, not the one who asked for comfort, but he was suffering deeply. His world was shrinking, and the man who once brought light into every room was slowly fading into the shadows. On August 11, 2014, Robin Williams took his own life. The news stunned the world. Fans everywhere mourned as though they had lost a member of their own family. Social media filled with grief and love. Tributes poured in from celebrities, political leaders, and ordinary people whose lives he had touched. Robin's passing opened the door for a broader, overdue conversation about mental health, about invisible illnesses, and about the need to check in on even those who seem happiest. Sally Field, heartbroken, said she had always sensed a sadness in Robin, a quiet depth that many others didn't see. Looking back, she realized just how heavy that sadness had been. But the world didn't let sorrow be the final word. Weeks and months after his death, people around the globe began sharing their favorite memories, not just of Robin's work, but of Robin himself. They spoke of his warmth, his generosity, his ability to make people feel safe and valued. One of the most touching stories came from his longtime friend, actor Christopher Reeve. After Reeve's tragic accident that left him paralyzed, it was Robin who arrived to make him laugh. Disguised as a ridiculous Russian doctor, Robin barged into the hospital room pretending to prepare for an emergency procedure. Christopher laughed for the first time since the accident. That moment gave him hope, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, joy could still be found. That was Robin's true gift, bringing light when it was needed most. At the 2014 Emmy Awards, Billy Crystal gave an emotional tribute. He spoke of Robin's unique ability to make people laugh until they couldn't breathe, then turn around and move them to tears. He called Robin the best friend anyone could ask for. B. Goldberg said, "Losing Robin felt like losing a part of herself." Even President Obama honored him, saying Robin had played everything from a genie to a nanny. But more importantly, he was a soul who touched every corner of the human spirit online. Fans of every age shared how Robin had helped them through hard times. Whether it was his voice as the genie in Aladdin, his heartfelt role in Good Will Hunting, or his passionate performance in Dead Poets Society, Robin's characters weren't just roles, they were reflections of who he was. His humor had soul. His performances had depth, and his legacy is one of love, compassion, and enduring inspiration. Sally Field continued to speak about him, keeping his memory alive in interviews and conversations. She said their time together on Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't just a professional experience, it was healing. It was friendship. It was unforgettable. Robin wasn't just a man who made others laugh, he made people feel less alone. And that, she said, is the kind of legacy that lives far beyond the screen. Even years after his passing, Robin Williams' influence remains powerful. His movies continue to be cherished by new and old fans alike. His quotes, fan art, and tribute videos still circulate, offering light in a world that sometimes feels overwhelmingly dark. His message was always simple: be kind, be present, and use your gifts to lift others up. So what did Sally Field see on that set? She saw the real Robin, the man with the enormous heart, the one who carried others even as he quietly struggled. Himself. The one who gave selflessly, who made people laugh so they wouldn't have to cry. And though he is gone, the love people feel for him has only grown stronger. Robin Williams gave everything to the world, through our memories, through our laughter, and through the love he left behind, he continues to give even now.